reviewing Zoologist Moth for you. I'm wearing it today. I've just sprayed 2 sprays on my neck. I'm going to do 1 more on my wrist, or maybe 2. And here is Mr. Moth. I love that. I love all the Zoologist characters. And it's extract of parfum. Let me read you the notes. Top notes: black pepper, cinnamon, clove, cumin, lemon, nutmeg, saffron. Heart, heliotrope, iris, jasmine, mimosa, muguet and rose. I think muguet also means lily, but I will check that fact. Base notes: ambergris, honey, resins, gaiac wood, musk, nagamotha, oud, patchouli, smoke, vetiver. So quite a list of notes, as is always the case when it comes to zoologists. The fragrances are always very complex and interesting. When I first sprayed it on just now, I definitely get honey. That is the most noticeable note, and it brings to mind Back to Black from by Kilian, but I haven't smelt that in a long time. I'm not saying it smells exactly the same, but I definitely get that same dark honey vibe. It's a dark fragrance. The colour of the juice is dark, and the smell, it's a kind of a mixture of light and dark actually. So it's like a dark honey feel, but there is definitely a lightness to it, which is possibly coming from the lemon or maybe the florals. But we'll see how it develops anyway. It's quite sweet, but not ridiculously sweet. I think you've got quite a lot of sweetness coming from the honey and the florals, but then all those base notes are probably keeping it from being too much in terms of sweetness. But I'm going to wear it and I'll come back to you with some more thoughts very shortly. So here we are in the park at lunchtime, and my update on Moth for you. So what I noticed this morning is, in the car on the way to work, it smelled a bit pungent, a little bit dirty, and I mean there was still that honey, but there's almost like this undercurrent of this buzz of something dark and disturbing underneath that honeyed floral surface, maybe representing the moth, which is, let's face it, suicidal. The silly buggers, they just fly at lights and candles and fires and kill themselves all the time. So there should be a dark edge to moth, definitely. But what I noticed throughout the morning is that a vetiver was coming through and singing off my skin. A greeny, grassy vetiver, not a rooty, earthy type at all. Similar to the vetiver that you get in Le Maroc Port El. I'm trying to think of something else, and nothing like the vetiver in Terre d'Hermès. So a very kind of sharp, high-pitched vetiver, possibly linked with the lemon to make it nice and high-pitched and clean and sharp. But you've also got the honey, which slowly during the wearing is calming down. And what I'm also noticing is that the smell coming off of my neck is different to if I go in deep to my wrist. So when I smell my wrist, I still notice the honey. It's not as prominent, not at all as prominent as in the opening, and it's kind of more mellow, more sweet, almost like sweetened by perhaps a touch of vanilla. But there's this sexy undercurrent, and this is what I'm mostly picking up on now as I'm walking around. The scent coming from the 2 tiny little sprays are giving off, and I wouldn't say beast mode, but bear in mind I have done 2 tiny little sprays, so if you did do a big spray from a big bottle, you probably would get beast mode. I don't think I'd be comfortable with this fragrance on that level, because basically what it smells like to me is sex. It smells like you maybe have a couple in a room and they're fairly newly acquainted, so you know they may be having fun for several hours, and let's imagine they get up and leave, and then you smell their sheets. Now I'm not talking seminal fluids here. What I'm talking about is that musky, musty, slightly stale smell that you get. The sexiness in this fragrance to me is very similar to what I get from SP Parfum Suntan Glam, which has definitely got a very sexy, musky, almost like a slightly patchouli-esque feel, and also similar to the sexy note in Maxed Out, which is actually supposed to smell like sheets after someone's been a bit naughty in them for a duration of time, shall we say. And I really get that from this fragrance, even though it's called Moth, which to me is not a particularly sexy species. In fact, I find them slightly disconcerting, if I'm completely honest with you. Some of them are beautiful, but I get annoyed by those ones that come into my house when my door or window's open at night and there's a light on, and they just all come in these tiny little whitey beige things, and I find them a little bit gross, if I'm honest. They're all powdery, aren't they? Anyway, that's a bit off topic. I think what I'm trying to say is, overall, what I'm getting from the fragrance, it starts out almost medicinal. That honey is really, really strong, with some florals which I couldn't particularly pinpoint, and it's kind of drying down into a note of pure animalistic sex. This is definitely coming across to me as an animalic fragrance, but I would say it's beginner level animalic. I'm comfortable wearing it, but I feel like wearing it to work was slightly inappropriate. I'm concerned that my colleagues are walking past me and thinking that I've perhaps been for a bit of midday fun. There's something slightly dirty about it, which is in a way comforting, but maybe not appropriate for the workplace. I would say this is a beginner level animalic fragrance. It's about as animalic as I'm comfortable wearing. It's not a fragrance I think I'll be choosing to wear very often, but one that I would pick up and just do one little spray on my wrist just to sniff and kind of enjoy the comforting scent of that musky, après coital smell once it comes around. I think I'll leave it there, and I'll probably do one more interjection for you at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm home. It's 4:30. That means 3 hours since I last spoke to you, and I've been getting lungfuls of moth all afternoon. So what I'm trying to say is it's still projecting very strongly from my neck, even though I sprayed it at 7:30 this morning. So ridiculously strong fragrance, but it has changed again. So during the afternoon it has morphed into a barnyard tryst. So earlier it smelt to me like naughty bed sheets, and now it smells like a bit hay-like, a little bit like you're in a barn, but they have been having a wild time in that barn. Human beings have been having a crazy time in that barn. It's kind of just gone that little bit more dirty, I think, but it's just dirty in a different way. I don't really get much of the florals or the honey anymore. To me, it's all about musks and earthiness, a little bit of smokiness as well. Kind of reminded of when you hang out with the smokers outside the pub and the scent of the smoke clings to your skin a little bit. I kind of get that as well from it. So let's imagine you've had your tryst. You started in the bedroom and then you took it out to the barn, and then you both had a cigarette. I don't think that's what moth's supposed to smell like, but that's what it's smelling like to me. It's definitely animalic, it's definitely naughty, and I'm not sure that it's one that I'll be wearing again. It has been a long day, and it has been it's been interesting because I don't feel clean, and I haven't felt clean wearing this fragrance. And I know some people love that, and if you're into your animalics and you like something slightly dirty, funky, skanky, then this is going to be up your street. But at the same time, it's not so bad that you can't handle it. I like my fragrances light and translucent and fresh, or clean smelling mostly, but I do like them to have a little bit of something else going on. This maybe tips the balance into animalic just a touch too far for me to consider wearing this on a regular basis, but it is wearable. It's just not, I can't see a situation where I would choose to wear this one. So as much as I love Victor dearly, and I think he creates amazing fragrances, this is perhaps just that touch too animalic for my taste. But I have a feeling, I know a lot of people that really love their animalics, and I think that it's going to be a big winner amongst those people. It's just not for me. I feel like I need a bloody good cold shower and some neroli, maybe some neroli portofino, something clean, something that smells like clean sheets, not naughty, messed up, dirty sheets. I think I'm going to leave it there. A massive thank you to Victor for giving me the opportunity to try the new fragrance Moth, and I do think that people should definitely get their noses on it, especially if they love honey or naughty, dirty, musky, bad fragrances. That's it. Thanks for watching.